They gave me 30 days to tear down the bridge, or they would do it for me. Evelyn Hargrove screamed it right in my face, then spun on her heel and marched off, those sharp clicks echoing like a timer ticking down. The notice was already taped to my gate, bold letters, final warning. She thought the paper was the weapon. She had no idea I held the switch. I am Henry Caldwell, 67, retired city planner, living alone on the same 10 acres my grandfather cleared back in 1954. The house is old white clapboard, the porch sags a little on the east side, and 50 yards out front, Caldwell Creek slides under the bridge he built with his own hands. That bridge was the only direct road into Willow Ridge Estates, the gated community that swallowed the rest of the valley. They wanted my land. They always had. This time they thought a deadline would be enough. Monday morning, 7 sharp, sunlight poured through the kitchen window and lit the scarred oak table where I drank coffee from the same French press I have used for 20 years. The house creaked once, the familiar sound of everything still standing. Then tires on gravel. I watched through the glass as a black Escalade rolled up. Evelyn stepped out first, navy blazer, clipboard clutched like a shield. 2 board members flanked her. She taped the notice to my gate, stared straight at the house, and left without a word. 2 minutes, start to finish. I waited until the dust settled, then walked out in my boots. Dew soaked the cuffs of my jeans. The notice flapped in the breeze. Unauthorized structure on shared easement. Remove within 30 days or face daily fines of $500. Signed Evelyn Hargrove, President, Willow Ridge HOA. I folded it once and carried it inside. The coffee had gone cold. I set the paper beside the metal box my grandfather handed me the day I turned 18. Inside were deeds, survey maps, and a thick folder labeled Caldwell Substation Power Agreement 1998 to 2048. I spread the maps across the table. The 1970 survey showed the bridge entirely on Caldwell land. In the margin, Grandpa's handwriting, easement verbal goodwill only. That was the deal. Let neighbors cross when they needed. Run county power lines through. Build a substation when the valley started growing. Serve everyone fairly. I traced the property line with my finger, then looked out the window. Willow Ridge sprawled behind brick walls and electronic gates, 120 homes glowing under streetlights that had started flickering last week. Small pulses, nothing major, just enough to catch my eye. I called Margaret Brennan, my lawyer. She answered on the second ring. Henry, it is early. I told her about the notice. Silence. Then, they cannot do that. The bridge is private. I will draft a response. Do nothing until we talk. I agreed, hung up, and opened the power folder. Page 43, highlighted in yellow. Either party may terminate with 90-day written notice in the event of material breach, including property damage, trespass, or failure to maintain mutual respect and goodwill. I had read it 100 times. Never thought I would need it. 3 nights later, 10 o'clock, the sound cut through the walls, high whine of a circular saw. I grabbed a jacket and ran. Work lights blazed through the trees. 3 men in safety vests were carving my bridge like a holiday roast. One sawed the decking, sparks spitting orange. Another pried up planks with a crowbar. The third fed extension cords from a humming generator. Evelyn stood apart, arms crossed, watching. Stop. I shouted 911. Operator said 20 minutes. By the time Deputy Larson arrived, a 10-foot gap yawned in the middle. He took notes, flashlight beam jittering. Civil matter, he said. Need a court order to stop work. Evelyn smiled. We are removing a hazard, officer. Larson left. The saw started again. I stood there until they packed up and drove off, tail lights disappearing down the only road they had just destroyed. Next morning I launched the drone, flew a grid, documented every cut, every footprint, every cigarette butt. By 8 I was in Margaret's office downtown. She watched the footage without blinking. Trespass, vandalism, open and shut. Then I slid the power agreement across the table. She read page 43 twice. You own their electricity? I nodded. She leaned back. That changes the game. We drafted an 8-page notice of breach, repair the bridge, pay damages, public apology, replace the president. If refused, 90-day termination of power. Margaret sent it certified mail and email to every board member. That night Evelyn left a 30-second voicemail. You cannot threaten an entire community. I will bury you in court. I saved it. Monday injunction hearing. The HOA's city lawyer painted me as a tyrant holding families hostage. Margaret laid out survey maps, drone stills, the 1998 contract. The judge denied the injunction and ordered mediation. Cameras waited outside. A reporter asked if I would really cut power to children and the elderly. I looked straight into the lens. I asked them to fix what they broke. If they choose pride, the consequences are theirs. The county paper ran the story front page Wednesday. Comment section exploded. By Friday, Willow Ridge called an emergency town hall. I was not invited. I went anyway. The clubhouse was packed, standing room only. Evelyn sat center stage. She explained the 90-day notice like a weather report. A woman stood. You destroyed his bridge without authority. Did you have an engineer? Silence. A retired colonel on the board rose. I voted against removal. I was overruled. He looked at Evelyn. Did we have the right? She opened her mouth, closed it. The room fractured. I had not planned to speak, but every head turned when I stepped forward. I am Henry Caldwell. My grandfather built the substation that powers this room in 1975. For 50 years that goodwill held. Then your board cut my bridge at midnight and told me to prove ownership in court. I gave you options. You refused. You are here because your leadership chose pride over accountability. I am not your enemy. I am the man who finally said no. I walked out. The shouting followed me into the night. 2 weeks later, the paper ran a follow-up. Willow Ridge president resigns amid embezzlement probe. $12,000 in HOA funds spent on personal travel, meals, hotel suites. The board voted 4-1 to accept her resignation. Construction crews appeared the next morning, new lumber, steel reinforcement, proper permits. The foreman apologized though he had not been part of the original crew. Should have been done right the first time. Thursday afternoon, the colonel knocked on my door, flannel shirt, no clipboard. Just a man with coffee and something to say. I let him in. We sat at the kitchen table. I voted against every aggressive move, he said. I stayed quiet too long. That was cowardice. I am sorry. He offered a seat on a new neighbor relations committee. I told him I would think about it. He left. I watched his truck disappear across the half-finished bridge. 3 months later, early spring, I woke to sunlight slicing through the bedroom window. Coffee brewed while I watched Caldwell Creek run high with snowmelt. The bridge stood whole again, wider planks, LED strips underneath, reflective rails. A new bronze plaque caught the light. Caldwell Bridge, private property estate. 1954. Community access granted with gratitude. I took my mug to the porch. A jogging couple crossed, waved. I waved back. The gesture felt normal, earned. That afternoon I drove to the substation, same key Grandpa gave me in 1975. Inside, transformers hummed, meters steady at 2.4 megavolt amperes. I logged the numbers, signed my name beneath his and my father's. 3 generations keeping the valley lit. Mail brought the settlement. $30,000 for repairs, legal fees, damages, permanent easement protecting both sides, annual maintenance contribution. I signed, scanned, emailed accepted. Night fell. From my porch, Willow Ridge glowed steady and warm, lights my grandfather made possible, boundaries I finally drew. Power serves, the cornerstone still red. It does not rule. I understood now. Service without respect is exploitation. Respect without power is surrender. Balance is everything. They thought cutting the bridge would force me out. Turns out it was the only road in. And the switch, from the beginning, was always in my hand. What do you think? Was I right to use the power contract as leverage, or did I risk too much? When does standing your ground become bullying? Drop your honest take below. No filters, just truth.